Senator Roberts.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Climate Change and Energy, Senator McAllister. The government has ruled out adding nuclear electricity to our energy mix, based on the government's calculations showing a higher cost of nuclear energy as against wind and solar. Minister, can you please inform the Senate of the levelised cost of generation of wind, solar and nuclear that informed the government's position?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. And I'll just remind you, questions need to go to ministers, not assistant ministers. So I believe the responsible minister. I thought you said Senator McAllister. Yes, so I'm directing the question to Minister Gallagher. Thank you, Minister Gallagher.
Damn. Anyway, thank you, Senator. Thank you, President. Thank you for the question. The advice the government has, and I think this is understood by everyone who's been following the energy discussion, is that nuclear energy is very slow to build. It's the most expensive form of new electricity generation, cannot firm renewables, which are the cheapest, fastest and cleanest form of new electricity generation. The analysis that has been done showed that there was a significant cost burden. So it is about cost. Our position, we are looking for the cheapest form of energy generation, which is renewables, which includes wind and solar. And Australia obviously has a very significant comparative advantage when it comes to that form of energy, with renewables, with our sunlight hitting our more sunlight hitting our landmass than any other country. We also don't have a workforce to support that renewable energy, that nuclear energy generation. So the time it would be involved, it would be decades away before anything became operational, and would do nothing to reduce the energy costs for Australian households and business in the meantime. So our position, and I think there is a lot of support for that position, is that this transition to renewable energy is the quickest and cheapest path as we shift away from fossil fuel generation. That is the path that the government was clear about before the election. That is the path that we're implementing under Minister Bowen and Mr McAllister's leadership, leading this for the government, and we will continue on that path, and we will leave the nuclear energy debate for those opposite to convince people of.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Roberts, first supplementary.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Minister. Minister, is the figure for nuclear based on real-world data from the 440 nuclear power stations around the world, or even from the last 10 stations completed in the last few years? And if not, on what is it based?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Gallagher.
Look, I understand, and I'll see if there's anything I can provide, but the government analysis that looked at the cost of nuclear energy was looking at how to replace the retiring coal-fired power station fleet, and that figure resulted in about a $25,000 cost impost on each Australian taxpayer, based off 15.1 million taxpayers. So, according to many of the experts in the energy field, it's more expensive, it's going to take decades to build, and in the meantime will do nothing to reduce the power costs on households, which are clearly going to benefit from the shift to renewable energy generation and technology, and that is the path the government will continue on, because we're focused on cost of living and a sensible and orderly transition away from fossil fuels and to new forms of energy.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Roberts, second supplementary.
Thank you, President. The government is using a figure for the cost of modular nuclear power that's not based on any real-world data. Rather, it's mere speculation about a type of generation that doesn't exist.
Senator Roberts, please resume your seat. Order on my right. Order. Senator McKim. Senator McKim. Senator Roberts has the right to ask his question in silence. I want to ask senators to respect that right. Senator Roberts.
The government's data is based on speculation about a type of generation that does not exist and completely misrepresents the cost of nuclear power. The government is spreading misinformation again. Minister, why didn't the government use the real-world data from 57 conventional nuclear power stations currently under construction around the world, and why is the government not being honest about nuclear?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. And Minister Gallagher.
Well, I don't accept the question that Senator Roberts just put to me. We are providing information to the community, and that information is that renewables remain the lowest cost new build generation technology. That is clearly a fact. Now, we have also done some analysis, and I think you'll find it hard to find any expert that says nuclear isn't expensive or isn't going to take too long to build, including how you generate a workforce around this and the time it will take to do that. Based on the work that we need to happen now. We can't delay this for decades. The transition was already delayed for a decade under those opposite with 22 failed energy policies. In 18 months, we're getting on with it, and we are in that transition, and we will focus on renewables as the lowest cost form of energy generation that will help households with those cost of living pressures.